والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم اجعل الحق على قلوبنا وألسنتنا وارزقنا الإخلاص في كل قول وعمل. Today I won't be inshallah doing tafsir. I did not prepare for the tafsir, but I wanted to share with you maybe quick khatira. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I have been blessed by going to Ḥajj this year. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easy this year, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Because I know some people here, like Yusuf been last year, and they know it was a little tougher, hotter weather. This year, alhamdulillah, it was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it very easy, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. But what I want to share with you as maybe a reflection from the Hajj experience. One amazing thing about Hajj is it's kind of a miniature of life. You go there, focus. The days of Hajj are actually very limited. You start from the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, right? They call it the day of Tarwiyah, right? The ultimate day is the 9th, which is the day of Arafah. And then the 10th is the day of Eid. And these are the main three, like the Arafah and the day of Eid are the main days where most of the actions of Hajj take place. And then you stay in Mina, 2 days, 3 days, depending on what you want to do. And then you just do the Rajm, which is like the stoning piece. But the main piece of Hajj are these 2 days. Arafah, Muzdalifah, and then you go back Mina, the Tawaf, Ifada, and Sa'i. And you go to it. So 2 days of extreme focus. But it has a profound impact on you. Part of it is, if any of you have been to Umrah before, have been visiting Mecca before, one act of worship that you can always only do in Mecca, what is it? One act of worship that you can do nowhere else in the world except for Mecca. What is it? Alhamdulillah, I mean, everyone is awake. Alhamdulillah, that's good. Tawaf. Tawaf is the only act of worship that you can do there. There's no other place you can do tawaf. But there's a beauty of tawaf when you focus on it. First of all, if you go on the bottom floor, which is called the Sahn, like right next to the Kaaba, it's by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, beauty of this deen, it's always packed. Sometimes they're like 11, maybe 1 a.m. You say, mashallah, it's very light. Very light, that means you can see, if you're looking at the TV, you can see white marble. Okay, that means on the edges. But it's still very compact, very packed. And for me, this notion of tawaf, is that it's a miniature of what life and the struggle of life is. When you do the tawaf, you're going, first of all, fulfilling a commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you go to this place, this is my house. The house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أول بيت وضع للناس. This is the first house of worship established for humanity as a whole, to go and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then you will be doing these circles 7 times. Why is it 7 times? It's 7 times because Allah says so. Literally. Why is it not 6? Why is it not 8? Why is it not 5? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to do 7. And we're there submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Full-heartedly. The same exact thing, like right now we prayed Salat al-Fajr 2 rak'ahs. Why not 4? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to do so. In that sense, we are followers 100%. We submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will. So the first thing from the very beginning, you're saying, oh Allah, I'm submitting. What do you want me to do, Allah? You need to do tawaf here 7 times. Hadri Allah. Sami'na wa ata'na. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. We respond full-heartedly, believing in the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you do it in this particular direction, by the way. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to do so. Same exact thing. But once you start, you're coming here with the intention, with the submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Says, Ya Allah, I'm coming fully submitting to myself, to you, and to your commandment. And I'm going to do these tawaf around your house 7 times as you commanded us in this particular direction. You start there. What happens is, Once you start, first of all, we said it's extremely packed. I am here with this intention that I'm following the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm engaging in dhikr or in dua or any act of worship during the tawaf. But once you start, you understand the reality of the tawaf. Once you start moving, especially when you start the tawaf from the beginning, it's extremely packed that there is no way I want to go in this particular circle around. Impossible for you to follow it. Why? Because someone is going to come trying to leave the tawaf, they finish the tawaf and trying to exit the tawaf. So while they're exiting, they're actually pushing you along the way. And the opposite, someone just entered the tawaf and want to come closer to the Kaaba. While you're doing tawaf, someone is just coming literally pushing you along the way. You're going along and then someone decided to, again, they have a big family and they're trying to protect their family. So they're holding on to their family. Or a group of people coming, again, organizing together and there's 20 of them. And they want to go in a straight path, right? People are smiling because they've been there. You're always consistently and continuously being pushed and shoved in the holiest place on earth. I'm here for worship. I want to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to submit myself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But all of these happenings, all of these things are happening at the same time. Pushing, shoving, in, out. And there is no way, as I mentioned, that you would stay in this perfect circle around the Kaaba. It's never going to happen. But this is exactly the reality of life. We're there saying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to be there. So we submit ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once you submit yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do not think that things are going to go smooth and you're going to go in this perfect circle. Never going to happen. Always things are going to come up, pop in your way of your path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every single time, yes. And these things that pop up in your way, sometimes there are actual distractions for a good reason or for a bad reason. Sometimes, subhanAllah, when these family that is moving outwardly, right, pushes you along the way, they're actually helping you to exit the tawaf, next tawaf, right? You're almost at the end, and they did you a big favor by pushing you out, instead of you struggling to get out of the tawaf. They just helped you along the way. Sometimes the opposite. But what you do is, if you start focusing on these things, and by the way, the people do that, I want to also, Imam Majid always says that, Jazakallah khair. He always says, look at these people, and these are the people of Jannah. So don't look at these people are what? Oh, astaghfirullah, they're coming and pushing. A lot of times they don't want to really push. Sometimes they said you find a person like a husband and a wife, or a son and a mother. They're trying to protect their mother in front of them. They're trying to put but this is, again, the reality is that if they don't protect her, they lose her. And it becomes a bigger problem. So they're just trying to think of their microcosm or micro life to say, I want to protect my mother. So I'm gonna put my hand around her. If that means I'm gonna push a little bit, I don't mean to push. I don't want to push, but there's no other way for me to do it. So don't think about people who are doing that are, astaghfirullah, it's like a negative thing. No, these are the dwellers of Jannah, as Imam Majid says. But think about it as just, this is normal life. Normal life, things are gonna come your way. It doesn't have to mean negative. But these things, what do? They push you off the path. Sometimes they distract you. What you and I need is, instead of us getting caught in the details of this life. Oh, subhanallah, he pushed me. Oh, subhanallah, If you get caught in this, you lose your focus on the ibadah itself. But what you need to do, as in life, is every single time you get bumped, you refocus. Okay? I'm not here to think about the bump. I'm here to think about the path. I want to come back to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to reorient myself to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does that mean in this second or 20 seconds that happens that someone pushed me or someone, did I not lose focus? I did lose focus, but this is exactly life. We do mistakes. But what we do need to come back. If you get focused on that I did a mistake or I got off the path or, you're going to find out that your tawaf is almost what? Over, and subhanAllah, I was focusing on something else. In addition to that now, if you have not been recently, they built this huge tower. Huge tower. To the extent that you find people sometimes around the Kaaba, going around the Kaaba, the only place where you can do this tawaf and they're looking at the tower. It's a distraction, another distraction. This is a kind of a symbol of life for me. Like this is like the attractions of life. Huge tower with like clock and people, instead of you looking at the direction that you want to, we stand here in prayer, we're looking at what? At the Kaaba. Here, we're standing in Sterling, Virginia. We're standing in prayer and we're looking what? At the Kaaba. Now you're at the Kaaba. Now there's I want to focus, right? No. This big building comes in your place. It's like, whoa. The Kaaba is right here and the building is right there. And your mind's just, so this is huge. This is, right? And some people take a picture, life. Refocus. If it's all nice, there is nothing else but the Kaaba, everyone would have focused. No, there has to be distractions. Distractions are part of life. And distractions should not take us off the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you look, as I said, at the tawaf, as this act of worship that reorients you every single time you do something, you go off the path, it takes you back, you see how this is, I said, it's a miniature of life. That would be the symbol of our lives. Whereas, we need to always be submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 2, we know that things are going to come our way, in our path of this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's part of normal life. There's nothing wrong with that. What we need to do is not get focused on the distractions or the things that came our path, but rather reorient ourselves to the straight path or to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 3, while you are in this path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people that come out along the way, we said don't take it negatively. We said these are dwellers of Jannah. Not every single thing that comes your way, sometimes these things that come your way are actually a wake-up call. Sometimes it's something to help you. But don't look down at people. Look at them as subhanAllah. Give them an excuse at least, the least that we can do, which is part of life. We give them an excuse. Number 4, we said it's okay. It is part of the design, right? All of these glamorous things in life, now you're going the path. Even we said if the Kaaba is completely empty and you're going in this straight path, sometimes you find this big building right there distracting you. No one else will distract you, but this building, you can either look this way at the dunya, or look at this way to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Both choices are there. And it's up for us, the ones who submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to choose which direction we go. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability, give us the chance for all of us. I made this dua before and I'm going to make it again. وَمَا ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ بِعَزِيزٍ. This is not something that's hard for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the chance for all of these people here in this Fajr family, inshallah, that we gather at least an umrah together. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability and the chance to do tawaf together. Not pushing people around, but everyone on their own, but everyone in their path, all submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have us always on the straight path, always focused on the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, always focused on submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the straight path easy for all of us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us, protect our families, our children, our wives, our husbands, our spouses, our bigger families, our community. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us all amongst the dwellers of Jannah. That we, as we met in this day of Fajr, in this masjid, that we meet on the day of judgment and we are pleased with our actions, and that we, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would submit us into Jannah behind Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.